there is hope to get and climb out of your circumstances. And I just want to leave with that encouragement.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Scott Markowitz. Previously, episode 1332 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 2 months, 19 days, and 11 hours since we last recorded that conversation. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. So, are you in North Carolina still?
I have moved since our last conversation. We are now living in Naples, Florida.
All right.
And it's even more beautiful than it was in Raleigh. So
I'm guessing it's warmer.
It's definitely warmer this time of year for sure. Yes.
That's wonderful. So what's new? The last time we spoke, we talked about you in a film editing, right? The director for post-production. We talked about Video Crush, the website, as well as the podcast that you were going after there. Of course, I know things evolve and time has definitely passed by quicker than we can think. So what's new?
Wow. The number one thing that happened was my concept about how I can help fellow creative people has completely evolved and grown and changed into something so much bigger than what I ever could have imagined. And I'm just so grateful that the response to the Video Crush was very overwhelming for me. And a lot of people reached out to me to learn, how they could improve themselves, how they can cope with having, such a scattered, creative, mind that felt at times to keep them from really achieving as a person and growing as a person because they just had so many thoughts and so many projects that they wanted to accomplish. And, all I ever wanted to do was just help other creative people to live up into their best selves so that they wouldn't feel like they had wasted their time on this earth like I had felt at one point. If you recall back in 2007, my mom passed away.
Yeah.
And it was an event that I completely missed, being able to spend time with her in her last few days because I was so busy with my work. And I didn't want other people to have to deal with that. I wanted people to be free to pursue the things that they really wanted to pursue. And the outreach I received after launching the podcast and talking to creative people was just amazing.
Yeah, the concept of edit yourself was what you were working on then. Is it still that, or has it evolved as well?
That has evolved. So just real quick, when we first spoke, I was just about ready to release Edit Yourself as a short book. But what I found was that it wasn't complete. It didn't go far enough. What I found was people would see immediate change in the way that they could react to others and the way that they could show up in the world, and they were able to achieve things quickly, but it wasn't lasting. They would revert back to their old habits, or they would lose heart. They would stop doing it. And for a while, I couldn't really figure it out. So what I did was I began studying as much psychology and human behavior as I could. I got certified as a life coach and all the training that went along with that to try to figure out what was I missing. And it turned out that the thing that you really need to understand before you go about trying to edit yourself is you have to understand that your thoughts are the things that control and determine your emotional state. And it's your emotional state that allows your subconscious to internalize and accept any new actions that you wish to take as being congruent to who you truly are. Your subconscious will allow your conscious mind to work in ways that is a little bit out of line with who you truly are, but it won't let you do it for long. So this is the Edit Yourself framework condensed down real quick. It's 6 steps. And the first one is ingest. Just ingest everything. The second step is to catalog. So after you've seen everything, then it's okay to start making some judgments and start organizing things and cataloging what you've seen into categories. The third step is to internalize, memorize, and learn. And the fourth step in editing a film is to try to select the very best bits. Because maybe in that catalog, maybe I've got like a list of things that are compassionate, but maybe some of them are not very useful, or some of them just aren't as powerful as other things.
Or it could be just it's not pertinent for the particular purpose of the scenario as well, yeah?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, that's right. And then the fifth step is the fun part. That's when you actually get to take all these little pieces and all the best bits, and you get to rearrange them, and you get to play with them, and you get to try them in different orders and in different scenes. And then the sixth step and the final step in the process is to share it, to play it out for people. So like for a film, that's when you do a test screening and you show it to people and see what scenes they react well to, what scenes they don't react well to. In the real world, it's just, acting compassionately to your wife. It's just saying some kind, encouraging words to your children. It's just deciding not to be defensive when your boss yells at you. It's whatever it is that you have done in the first 5 steps, and you just try it with other people.
So is it that they're giving feedback as well? Is it that you're open to feedback from them in that, not just the way you would share with someone to get their feedback as well?
Yes, Angel, because a film is no good if it's just for the editor. It's nothing until other people see it. And that's the way our lives are. We are designed to be in communion with others, and we're designed to interact with others. And the beauty of life is the things that we're able to share and help others create. And so when you're able to try a better version of yourself out for the world, that's when the real magic happens. And that's when you really come alive. And that's when you really get inspired to go back and do even better and to make even better little movies of yourself to play out again.
That's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You've tapped into some principles there, and it's huge because from the perspective of, as well, you give yourself grace, right? When you understand, I'm looking at this, there's a huge element of grace. There's also a huge element of, I've found in what you just shared, the sharing.
Yeah.
You're a medium, if you would, a communication. It's like you're a conductor for conversation, and that's necessary as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, I appreciate you sharing this, and you've really struck gold, and as well to bring to the understanding that you've done it. You've actually taken a process that was core to who you were, and you've really expanded on it from an internal place. And I believe that each individual has that ability to create a brand of your own unique real self. And that's represented more so for creatives, understanding who you are. And then what you create is an extension of who you are, really sets you up to understand you are the value.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's wonderful. How has it affected your children? I'm not sure how many children you have now, right? But how has it affected them?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that because my relationship with my children is just beautiful and amazing now. I mean, we have this connection and this trust between each other that I find to be such a gift in my life, because in the past, I would allow my anger and my own emotional turmoil to spill out and affect them. I wasn't always the most kind to them. And now, no matter what it is that we're talking about, there's this understanding that there's not going to be any judgment, that there's just going to be compassion. And even if sometimes I give like harsh advice or harsh words, like they know that it's coming from a place of just pure love and compassion. And that's so important in every relationship, but it's so special when you have that with your children.
I agree. I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you being super open as well in the conversation. When we spoke, the song that you chose at that point in time, I know you chose The Who by Baba O'Reilly after, but Sweet Dreams as well.
Yes.
I've found that there's a connection in the words of a song that an individual gravitates to. And the lines, some of them want to use you, some of them want to get used by you, some of them want to abuse you, some of them want to be abused. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? I found that was very much connected to what you're working with and the experience that you're having. That type of, there are 5 formats in there, and you need to choose how to edit that. Would you say that's accurate?
That's totally accurate. Yeah. You know, when we first talked, I mentioned that, you know, Baba O'Reilly was one of my favorite songs. And, it remains the case that The Who is my favorite band of all time. But in light of all the studying that I've done about human psychology and coaching and everything, like I found that Baba O'Reilly is really it's more the voice of the tortured creative person, you know, and Sweet Dreams is really, it's such a message of empowerment that, you know, even if you're feeling tormented, those are just circumstances, and you get to choose like what all that means. You get to interpret it. You get to be the creator of who you are and how you show up.
Yeah, I love it. Ooh. It's been a pleasure. It's been 2 years, 2 months since we last spoke. However, we've connected, and just like that, it feels as though we left off right where we last spoke.
Yes.
And I think it's really beautiful, the art of podcasting and what it represents, more so the power of a conversation, more so the fact that you've continued in investing in who you are, and to see the value that has brought to the conversation. I want to say thank you for that. So
well, thank you
for that. Thank you for investing in others. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Angel, I love your mission. I love what you're doing in the world, and I love how you show up with so much energy, enthusiasm, and it's just inspiring what you're doing. And if I just would like to encourage anyone that if you're feeling like you're a creative mind who can't seem to get any traction, I just encourage you to come and maybe visit my website. If you go to unconstrained.me, I'm going to be sharing some of my tools and tricks and things that you can do to go deeper about the Edit Yourself framework and really dig in and start to change those fundamental beliefs about your world, about yourself. And, you know, there is hope to get and climb out of your circumstances. And I just want to leave with that encouragement.
I appreciate that. Again, amazing audience, Scott Markowitz. Links will be in the show notes. Check him out. Scott, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.